Can we just say Kamala, Kamala, Kamala?
I forget what the AKA symbol is, but
yeah, I forget what it is too.
They're gonna be stepping.
Look, you know the videos in the fucking line and be like,
they're gonna be in line at the polling place, like.
They gonna be.
I can't wait. Woo. Kamala Chameleon.
I like chameleon.
Comma, chameleon. That's hilarious. Kamala Harris or just Kamala?
Get yo cups ready.
Yo cups ready.
Yo cups ready.
Pence, get yo cups ready because she coming.
Right?
She coming.
He already packing his bags.
Bitch.
Hi, I'm Jan.
And I'm Alex.
And we're Daddies Squared.
The Gay Dads podcast.
Yes.
Yes, and this is what's brewing today.
Introducing Daddies Squared.
Ask your aunties how to kink.
And Kamala Harris coming for that ass. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report.
Okay, come on now. That was on point.
That was everything.
That
was the best clap ever. How are you ladies doing today?
We've had a few that weren't quite aligned.
That is very, very, very true.
So the rhythm is on point.
Well, community, we told you this year is the year of the guests, and we have another episode of guests, another episode of two guests at that.
That's right.
We have Jan and Alex from
Don't
Daddy
talk before
Square. Oh, that's fine.
They introduce
I will talk whenever I damn well want to talk.
Say that.
That's what I like to
It's going to be
hear.
a nasty episode today.
This is like all we're in couples therapy.
You said don't talk, and now
you've
you've been talking for the last
I
30
was
seconds.
trying to explain to you.
Look, they're going to fit right in with our group.
Absolutely.
Because if anything was an indication of how we communicate, the very last, 15 minutes of our episode last week?
Woo, that is it gets hot and spicy sometimes. We don't always agree with each other, and we let it be known.
But it's usually only two of us.
That is true. It's never been all three at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm normally one of the two.
That's a true statement. That is a true statement.
It's been like twice when I wasn't, and I was like, oh, what? This is what it feels like?
That is a very true statement. But welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for hopping on the podcast with us. And where are you guys based out of? I see like some tans, a little glow on the skin here.
Yes. We're based in Los Angeles, but we have absconded to like the Palm Springs area where I don't know. We came with our kids. We have twin, almost 5-year-olds, and we thought we could get away from Los Angeles and come to a completely different hotspot. It's 118 degrees outside, so
Terrible.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to go to a house with a pool, like a bigger house, so they can run around. And basically, when we can say go to your room, we're not going to be able to hear them, which is what's happening now. So Siri is watching them.
Yeah.
Good old Siri. I love her.
Oh my God! What, just talking,
Siri and
one
Alexa.
of them got it. Siri. We're totally Siri people.
Oh, he has to go poop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It happens. Bathroom break time.
I'll help him.
All right.
Hey.
Well,
That's the realities of
When
fatherhood.
daddy duty calls.
Literally.
Well, got rid of my husband. Let's go.
It's going to be that kind of an episode. We can already tell.
Listen, my son told me he had to poop an hour ago, but I made him hold it in until the podcast started so that I could have a solo.
Oh, you smart. Okay, come on now. That's a solo.
He said it's not my first rodeo. I know how to play these games.
That's some Corey Nicholas energy right there.
That would be my husband to do the exact same thing. Absolutely.
And who is this Corey Nicholas?
My husband.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he literally would do the same.
I thought it was gonna be like a sports thing, and I was gonna be able to
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Corey
My
Nicholas.
No, girl.
We call him by his full name. Well, Palm Springs. Do you get out to Palm Springs often? Like, I love Palm
No.
Springs. No.
Back when I was single, I used to come and
Mingle.
experience the fruits, if
The
you
fruits
will,
of that are Palm Springs.
the fruits of Palm
Okay.
Yeah, they used to
Springs.
call
Back from
them
the poop.
fruits.
Yes, they're still fruits. Oh, hold on.
There's something.
Like this. I have to say that being dads, at least for the first 5 years, it's all about poop.
It's all
so we're very poop oriented. I'm glad you and your listeners were exposed to this because it's pretty much typical.
Yeah.
Oh, we had an episode 2 weeks
We had a
ago where we
whole
talked about poop. Like the
Oh.
whole episode.
We should
talked
talk
So
about
how
apparently
we
it
wiped
doesn't
our
stop.
But we
butts.
talked about ours.
We talked
We
about
didn't
our
talk
poop
about
though.
kids.
You know how we wipe our butts. You know, splash,
It's good.
splash, or
It was very eye-opening.
Which I don't know.
Which eye? Okay.
I'm here all week.
Welcome.
Exactly.
I thought that this was an NPR caliber podcast. Now I see that.
Gave you
I'm
that
right.
impression.
Now you see. Now you see.
Have you seen the color of our skin?
Exactly.
We got a lot more spice.
I don't know. You should check out the roster of NPR personalities
I
because the
love
color
NPR.
of their
Oh, yeah.
skin
Oh, yeah.
has changed pretty radically over the last
That is
10
true.
It has.
years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
100%.
NPR. That's probably like the one thing I miss about my commute now that I'm working from home is actually listening to NPR in the morning. Other than that, I don't miss it.
Have you
at
noticed?
all.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a change in listenerships? Because our podcast, we've been on sort of hiatus between seasons, but nobody's driving, and I got to believe that an awful lot of the podcast listening that's going on is while driving. So it's got to be having an effect.
Yeah.
Like looking at I guess the data to go into data nerd moment for a second. March.
Here she go.
I know, right?
See them shooting dead, Alex.
March and April, we definitely saw a dip. But the last 2 months, it's been our best months. June and July, out of nowhere, it kicked right back off. So I'm not sure if that's correlated with people going back to work a little more. But yeah, it was weird. And I was like, oh man, why are we dipping? Are that many people listening on the rides? And it looked like it for a while there. So yeah. There's definitely a correlation there, but oh well, it is. They'll find us somehow. And before I forget to subscribe, we're on YouTube now, community. Subscribe, hit the bell, hit the like button, and all that good stuff.
I love how they point at the button as if the button isn't in different places.
It'll magically pop up somewhere. Right. But the Daddy Squared. So tell us about this podcast. What made you start this podcast initially? So how long has it been around? So your kids are 5. So has it been around ever since you started having kids?
Not really. Well, the first year was hell, and we talk about it a lot. We never stopped talking about it. Actually, the first year was not good at all. Having 2 babies, and we have no family around, and we had no idea about having kids or babies whatsoever. They just handed us the babies and said, okay.
No. They forced us to go through one night of training in the hospital where they told us, don't shake the baby. That is literally, it was an hour and a half where all they told us was don't shake the baby, which, listen, it's true, don't shake the baby, but that was all we got. And then they showed us how to put the kids into the car seats.
Okay.
Off we went. And
to the horizon, then came a year of crying, where most of the crying from us, of course, not from them, and totally it was a total depression / deconstructioning, and it was very, very tough. And then at the end of that year, I wrote a column in the in Huffington Post. Now it's HuffPost, Queer Voices, about the first year of being dad. I've written for them before, but that felt like something that I should tell the world.
Right.
And it got so much responses that I decided to start to blog. There's also been some Medium in the middle, which is it's a little bit strange because should I tell the story?
Some Medium.
The Medium.
Oh, good God.
No, I'm not going to.
Tell the story.
I'm not. You gotta tell the story. You got me leaning into my camera.
Let me just be clear with you guys, just before he does this, that I did marry into a family of witches. So he's into.
I'm a charmed one.
He's into.
Come on now.
Into all of this. Our kids get
I'm
sick.
Prue.
Our kids get sick.
No, she dies actually.
Yeah, don't be Prue. Piper.
Don't even. So our kids get sick, and his mother makes us cut an onion in half and leave it on the floor next to the bed.
Does it work? Does it work though?
It works. Shut up! It works.
Stinks the room up, but good. So I guess.
Alex, you know it works.
Okay.
Anyway, so what happened is that I heard about this guy who is a medium, who really I heard about him through somebody at Starbucks, where I usually go to work. Like, I work as a web designer, so I work from, and I'm independent, so I work from Starbucks around the city.
Used to, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, until. And then this guy tells me about a medium that he saw, and he said, "Listen, you have to set up a meeting with him, and this is really, really, it's amazing, like what he can say." And then. So I said, okay, because my therapist died that year, and I was very close to her, and my aunt died the same year. And I told him, and so I set up an appointment. It's like 4 months in advance. And during that time, the article was published in the Huffington Post. And I was started thinking, because of the good responses, that I have some more things to say about how bad parenting is. It's not all, because, you see all these, and especially with gay men, there's this urge to feel that, to show the world that you're okay, that everything is perfect. And I've looked at this picture, and sometimes in these pictures and what they write and everything, and sometimes it made me feel bad. It made me feel like something's wrong with me, because it's not easy, especially when you have twins.
Right.
So and then came that conversation with my late aunt, and I wanted to talk to my therapist through him, and then on the last minute I changed it, and my late aunt said to me through him, he said, "I don't know why you don't write anymore. I'm really excited about what's going to happen to you when you write, and especially because you have this idea already." So everything was set up.
Yeah.
The day after I opened I started the blog, and then a year later, we came up with the idea of the podcast, because I wanted, well, let's face it, nobody reads anymore, especially when it's like too long to read. So I'm like, why don't we just say these posts and
I
bring
think
these people on? And,
and in my case, there was no medium. But
let's make that clear.
There was no medium. But I was pretty much accosting total strangers on the street to tell them about, raising children, and crying at them and stuff. And so I figured that why not leverage that into a podcast? And we really did. I think at the beginning, we just finished our third season, our third year. Thank you. And I think that what's been cool is that it has been a bitch fest. We have been saying how hard it is and what we don't understand. And we've been bringing on experts and, in some cases, just ignoring absolutely all of the advice that they give. But
still complaining that
oh my God. It's an incredible catharsis,
At least one of us is complaining.
Minor detail.
You know what Paula says. Opposites attract.
Who's Paula? Oh, for God's sake,
Paula
Madonna, you can use one name. You don't do
Paula. There's only she's also one name.
Oh my God.
She's in a new commercial, by the way. Paula Abdul. I just saw that last night.
Is it an AARP commercial?
It is. It's it's about some kind of medication about growing older, and she's it's a split screen of her now and her in straight up or something like that, and she's dancing against herself.
Together. She has a little ponytail and
got the pony, right?
Super cute. Yep.
Oh, please Please tell me it's a diaper ad. God, I love the idea of Paula Abdul in a diaper ad.
Medication is
peas at the same time.
But by the time you realize what's going on, you're like, wait, hold on, what is this for?
What is this for?
Yep. That's the thing. That's the thing about all old people commercials is that they never tell you what it's about because they don't want to offend you. So what they do is only sometime near the end do you go, oh, can't get an erection. Peeing myself. You know what I'm saying?
Like, these are like the 9,000 side effects of it.
Right, exactly.
They'll list all the things like, if you see this, please go direct, stop taking it. Go to your doctor.
Wow.
But we love Paula.
We're back to Paula.
Anyway, so we started in 2018 and we had 3 seasons still since then, and we were supposed to come up with a season now, like during the summer, of Daddies Squared around the world, where we actually go out and like every episode we interview gay dads from a different country. Awesome. But we postponed it because we actually realized that it's not time to celebrate yet. We're gonna wait with it a little bit. So instead of that, we did Gay Dads
Save the World,
which is we took for 30 days. We interviewed gay dads who are essential workers for 15 minutes. It was like snippets of 15 minutes episodes where we just visited gay dads around the US via Zoom, of course, and talked to them about their work and about their life and how has it changed.
And this is like yes, it's like doctors and nurses, but it's also the guy who stocks the booze in the supermarket who really is an essential worker.
And by the way, and he told us that since COVID, every day is like New Year's Eve in booze purchasing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm down there all the time. I'm surprised I'm not drinking right now.
I know, like literally, I never drink on an episode, and I'm actually drinking tonight. What's going on? That's crazy.
I'm usually drinking, and I'm just not.
Oh man,
we start drinking since like at 9 a.m. I think. Don't drink. We do because of the kids.
Well,
First cocktail.
So did you always know you wanted to be dads? Or is that something like as you maybe got in a relationship, that's kind of something that changed, or?
Oh boy. I mean, you go first.
Well, I think that we are relative. It's not like this 20-year-olds.
Oh, I wish I was 20. Thank you.
Right?
I'll be 44 on Friday. Thank you. Owning it.
Really?
Yes.
So the younger generation is really grows up into this world where it is possible. For us, we didn't know it was possible. I grew up when you were saying that you come out as gay, it means that you're not going to have children. It means a lot for your family and for yourself. So you choose a way of life.
Right.
As things are progressing during our lifetime, thank God, like it seems like, okay, so it is possible. So it was kind of a different journey for us than
don't use the J word. I hate the word journey. Journey. Go ahead. I love you. Go ahead.
No, it's enough that I'm. It's enough that
I'm loving the soap opera that's happening in front of us.
I'm insecure about my English. He's judging me on my selection of words. Anyway, so it was when you see and I have to say that the media and celebrities really helped me personally to see that it's possible. The fact that Neil Patrick Harris and David Berkowitz did this. And I think they were the first ones who are actually covered internationally. And the way that they did it really sparked an idea in me. And I said, okay, that's an amazing way because they did.
We can exploit our children for fame.
Shut up. I'm explaining. They say that they took one egg donor and both of them, like they have twins. So one of each with the same egg donor. So they are half brothers.
Right.
And that's the first time you actually realize that it's possible. It's like science fiction when people tells you that it's possible. So we started investigating that and that's the romantic part in my side, because I said, okay, we couldn't get married yet, but does it really matter if we have this contract that said that we're together, or do I want to have something that really forces us to be together genetically, which is the kids. And this was my part.
And now we did both. Yeah. No, look, I mean, I always sort of theoretically said, yeah, I should have kids. And I just kept getting older. And it kept not happening. My mother was pressuring me to have kids from, I don't know, 15 minutes after I told her I was gay. She was like, well, yeah, whatever, but, make kids. And I think
that... Get yourself a WAP.
No, I don't know what that... We'll talk about what that is at some point. But I don't know what that is.
You'll find out soon enough.
Good. So, no, but my point is just that, we go to couples therapy. We love to talk about couples therapy. And our too. Couples, all three of you go to couples therapy.
Well, we haven't been in a year. We need to start going back. But we're a huge proponent of it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. So anyway, but we were in couples therapy, and our therapist asked us each, well, this was before we really started the process, why do you want to have kids? And I was kind of trapped for a moment, realizing I didn't know why. And then the kind of answer that came out turned out at 5 years later to really be the answer, which is not, but I love the notion of beautiful little child. No, it was not. It was none of that. It was at a certain point you start to say to yourself, okay, I can go to Palm Springs. I can take a cruise. Although, by the way, I would never take a cruise. I can take a cruise. But at some point you're going to say, well, what's the next interesting thing that's really going to fill your life? If you're not going to write the next novel, or you're not going to climb Mount Everest, then what is it, right? And it turns out that this is the thing that makes climbing Mount Everest look like bullshit. And so we've done that, and that has been, at least for the last almost 5 years, that's been the thing that has made my life full. I say full, I don't mean wonderfully fun and joyous. I mean full, sometimes full of shit.
Things to do.
Yeah. Question for you guys, like, what would you guys say was like the hardest part, like, in the process of like having kids? Because I know my fiance and I are like, we want kids, and at some point we know, like, I'm gonna use a J word, that's gonna be our journey too at some point.
Do you mean making them, or after they're born? What's the hardest?
Well, and that's the thing, like, I guess like leading up to making them, because I'm the oldest of 9, and there's babies everywhere, so I'm like used to kids. Right. So like I'm kind of, I understand, like, the late nights, etc. But just like the stress of like the relationship, or not even just the stress, or just some of the woes and ups and downs of like making the children and going through the whole process. Like, do you have any tips, or like just any advice, or just any personal experience you want to share? Because honestly, you guys like are the first gay couple that I've met that have kids. So like this is huge for me to be able to talk to another gay couple who has kids.
You know what?
Like, yeah.
You're our first Black people. No, they're not. So,
screaming.
Right. I took a chance. I took a little chance there. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that I think, first of all, it all depends on your personalities, because, for example, for us it was difficult, and I tell you exactly what was difficult for us in a minute. But we have neighbors, gays who are having twins exactly like we did. They're a little bit younger, and they're doing amazing. For them, it's like they want another set of twins.
Yeah,
which makes me like want to. And I think it all depends on whether or not you have family around who can take some of the burden.
Yeah,
which
don't be isolated. That's important.
Yes, and about you yourself, if you're used to babies, I assume it's going to be easier for you. I don't know. Like for us, I think that the hardest part was the fact that it wasn't, so we were kind of self-centered, I can say that, before the kids came along, because you worry about yourself, you're going to the gym, your work, your food, whatever, like everything is about you, right? You want to go to vacations, you want to call friends and go for coffee, whatever. Now when you have kids, it's not like that anymore. Like basically it's all around them, and especially the first year. It's all about like keeping their schedule, so you're not going to fall apart,
right?
And that's that loss of independence can really get you in some sort of a depression, which what happened to us.
Totally.
Okay.
You lose your freedom. And I think that for us gays, it's really, the freedom is really important, because not for nothing we came out of the closet. And I think losing it, and sometimes, you see some sort of a resemblance to the straight world, and that by itself really a little bit difficult.
I mean, repulsive.
That's interesting.
So it can be isolating. And also, we had gay friends who don't intend to have kids, who just disappeared.
Well, excuse me, they didn't disappear. We disappeared them in a lot of cases.
No, it's
rightfully so.
We did it. Yeah.
Some of them did.
We actually did an episode of the podcast on single gay friends of gay dads, and we brought on one of my friends who I love, but our relationship, and he let me have it on the episode pretty good, right? Because it's impossible to schedule anything, and when it is possible, you cancel. Do you cancel really because the kids are going crazy, or do you cancel because the kids aren't going crazy, but you just want to lie face down on the sofa in the living room, right? So friendships suffer, and there's a reason why this isn't just for gays. There's a reason why couples who have kids end up glomming on to other couples who have kids who they might not have any compatibility with, except the freaking children can run around with each other while they drink wine, and there's a lot to that. Look, I'll tell you, I think what Jan said about you having experience with a lot of babies has to make a difference. It has to. We really didn't know what the hell we were doing. It is very isolating. And, to be a little philosophical for a second, when a gay man of our generation and generations after it came out, there's this incredible freedom, like Jan was saying, because all of a sudden it's like, not only are you free from being in the closet, but society doesn't know what to tell you to do. Straight people have rules. We don't have any rules. The world said, you're free. We love you. Go do whatever the hell you want. Spray Pam all over your body and dance around on a float truck.
We literally have no rituals for how we get married. There's a wedding ring. There's a wedding ring. There's an engagement ring. Who gets what? I've seen every kind of iteration, and there's no playbook whatsoever.
And that's what's fun about it, and it's about getting married and having children. We now set the rules.
Well, except what I was going to say is that's true, except, and it's certainly true from getting married and the relationship. But when you have kids, suddenly God or whoever comes down and says, yeah, that's all nice. But just like a straight couple, you have exactly the same challenges, which are, this kid is screaming, you don't know why, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's frowned upon to put them out in front of the fire department and go home.
Shake them.
So, no shaking,
shaking.
So ultimately, you find yourself suddenly jammed right back into the same structures that society expects of any straight couple, and that can be really, really jarring.
Yeah,
have you guys
I didn't think about that.
Have you guys on your parental journey?
That's gonna be the theme.
Have you found any relationships that through your experience having children deepened even more so than what they were before you had kids?
Yes.
Really? Which ones?
Our relationship.
Oh, did you mean us with each other?
well, that could be it.
No, I didn't.
I actually was thinking about externally, because one of the things, and just from context, you know, my partner and I, we decided both agreed that we didn't want to have kids, and we're not really interested in getting married. And even the concept of having a dog, although he wants one, have that. So,
it's not a journey. That's the great thing about a dog. It's not a journey. all right, no, go ahead.
Dog makes
life beautiful. You know, one of the things that's always prevalent to me is, and I love what you said about the idea of losing your sense of independence and losing freedom, you know, through having this experience. I'm just curious, just like on the one hand, you lost friendships, or, you know, friendships that weren't as close because you couldn't have those same connections. Did you experience any other deeper connections externally with your friends or with new people that came into your life as a result of this?
Yes. First of all, I have to say that our relationship really got much deeper, especially because we were on the same page about our panic with the situation, so we could identify with each other and relate to each other, and we were together in this. So it was from the beginning, it was a project that both of us ran, and it wasn't like you're doing enough, you're not doing enough, I'm doing more.
Well, it was,
but most of the time, and especially when there's a crisis,
yeah,
we're both together, we're working together, and we found that that it's really gave a lot of depth to our relationship. Now, about other friends, I was surprised that one of my friends actually came forward when we had kids and wanted to be more with us, which to me was like, why would he do that? And it was so like, and he was, and our kids were, I remember that he came over when they were like 1 year old, one afternoon, and our kids were screaming and were throwing food, and he was like, "Oh, they're so cute," and and I'm like, "There's nothing cute about this." Like, I told him, "Listen, you can go. You can really, really go." Or now that they grow up, and they are now with Siri, and they have Messenger kids, so you can interact with people on Messenger, on Facebook's Messenger. So he actually contacted my friend on Messenger, and he talks to him. Our kids are talking to him like twice a day now.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I text him, you know, you can block them. It's fine. Like, and he's like, no, I like when they call. And you know, it's like,
that's really what I would say. You can block my kids.
Exactly. Right.
By the way, it is. We pride ourselves on the fact that we never forget how annoying other people's children are. So we always tell our friends, we know that they're annoying. It's okay.
Who said that?
I say it. Hell is other people's children. I think that was Walt Whitman, who it turns out was gay. So that was everybody's children.
So on brand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Walt Whitman is totally on brand for your podcast. But anyway, yeah, we definitely have developed. You know, we have a smaller set of friends, and the friends that we have are deeper. They're deeper relationships, and they've also watched us fall apart in ways that, you know, you don't. Right. You can clean yourself up, make yourself pretty for your friends until you have children, and they come into your house, and you literally have a slick shit. No, let me try that again. You literally have a shit slick up your arm, which you just didn't bother to wipe off because you changed them like half an hour ago, and it's just too much trouble, you know. So
it's like, what's this? Oh, nothing.
Right.
Oh, whatever.
Just a little shit from yesterday. That's okay. So how do you make new friends? As like are there like groups of dads out there, like gay dads that you could tap into, like on Facebook or whatever it may be?
There are. There's a group called the Pop Luck Club.
Oh, in LA.
In LA. Yeah. Is it just in LA?
Yeah.
There are lots of different
them, and a lot through Instagram as well. Yeah. You know, with the fact. And I think part of us like starting the podcast was that, like, we were trying to reach out to the gay dads community, and make new friends.
And in some ways, by the way, so if you go through, I dropped off of social networking on November 8th, 2016. I don't know if you guys remember what happened then.
Absolutely.
Forgot about it.
I'm still sick about it.
But when I see, when I see Jan swiping through Instagram and you see all of these pictures of these like fucking chiseled men holding like 16 babies in their arms with like their teeth they have like extra teeth and they're like smiling, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but that's kind of this bullshit celebration thing that is exactly what we were trying not to do in the podcast. And it's
let's just agree that social media altogether is a total mental fuck.
It's a shit flex.
Just not reality.
I agree in one way. In another way, it can be very helpful, especially in these times. So let's not trash it all the way.
That's true.
Well, I'm not getting off of social media anytime soon, but I do recognize the reality of it, which is it's a lot of bullshit. I mean, it's not reality, but but I think we can all agree that what one portrays on social media is not a reflection of real life. It is the image that they want you to see. It's their brand that they want you to buy in.
It's a percentage. It's a percentage of reality. It's not the full scope. Right. It's not, oh, you woke up like this and went to bed like that. Like, no, that shit happened in between. Literally.
I think that the bullshit is actually like an onion. It's multi-layered because, some people post things on Instagram or Facebook that are supposed to show, the difficulty of being a parent. And even that is bullshit because they've like polished it and set it up just right. And you're like, you know what? A lot of it is so boring that you wouldn't put that shit on Facebook because what is 100%. There to even see, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is the problem. If you want to get likes or clicks or whatever the fuck people are doing.
But I think it's amazing that I think it's amazing that you guys dove into podcasting as a way to connect with other people. And one of the reasons why we wanted to reach out and have you guys on was in part because you guys have a very unique perspective of the gay experience. And one of the things we talked about going into this now our second year was being able to use our platform to highlight the diversity of our own community. And we talk about a lot of different topics, and we get a lot of questions from our community that we answer on air. And there's certain things that we can't really speak on. We can speak on them, but we can't really speak from a place of authority because we don't live that life. We're not trans, we're not, lesbians, we're not fill in the blanks, and we're not dads. And so, but what's interesting enough is that the three of us are all, Black men. We're all in interracial relationships in different stages of our lives and careers. So, we're so glad that you guys are able to join us for this conversation and share your experience with us. I think, our community appreciates hearing like these different perspectives. So
I do got one more question for y'all too, by the way.
Go ahead.
How do you poop?
This is a personal question because sometimes Fizz, that's my fiance. We talk about like, what our parenting styles will be like when we have kids. So like, do you guys have similar parenting styles, or is one more relaxed, one's more stern, or is it like you've just found a way just to kind of fill each other's kind of like weaknesses?
Yeah, we do. We fill each other's weaknesses in certain ways, but I will say that there might be couples where both partners have exactly the same style. I'm not even sure that's such a good thing for the kids, frankly. But I don't know. I shouldn't pass that judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'll say is that what's happened is, especially in the earliest stages of our kids' lives, I was a disaster. I had no way of interacting. You guys may have noticed I like to talk. I had no way of interacting with the kids because the kids didn't talk. So there was no communication. Wow. And I was utterly at sea. And he was doing really quite well about how to interact with them and how to make things work.
I know that gay men in America like golden girls.
Golden girls.
Mm-hmm. So, you should utilize that if you can memorize episodes now. So when you change your kids, you just say the episode. I used to memorize, like I memorized in Israel, we had this comedy, some kind of, not really similar to that, but kind of, that I actually, I changed the diaper and I just, say the episode to them, like as if I'm, memorizing a script.
Yeah.
And it really helped because, they're looking at you and it's interesting and I'm doing voices.
And it's something to talk about.
They're like, Blanche, is that you?
Blanche.
Blanche.
Yes. Or like a Kylie Minogue interviews. I know that. So as you all know,
it's Kylie. That's your pop star of choice.
Kylie, yes. Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue. So I liked her. I started becoming a huge fan of her like in my teen years. And I used to watch like interview with her like non-stop and I know them by heart. So I'm like, on Monday she releases
No,
the tracks that includes 17 top
please make
singles.
it stop.
Stuff like that. To our kids as well, and they grew up and now they're Kylie fans.
I want to go back to what Dawon said before and just say that we did probably the whole first season, maybe the second season too. And my friend Karen, who is not a Karen, she's not.
Praise Jesus.
Her name is Karen.
I think all Karen's names should.
It's terrible, the poor thing. Anyway, so she and I were talking. She was listening to the show all the time, and she said to me, she said, Alex, I want to just point out that I don't think you've had almost anyone of color, or at least anyone of color who has mentioned that aspect of their lives or their background on the show. Why not? And I was completely stuck. I said, I don't know, because it never came up, whatever. And so the reason why I bring that up is because I think it's really interesting. You're talking about being gay men and not having a gay dad on the show, right? And so but you're not trans and you're not lesbians. Well, the question is, how do you get all of these different puzzle pieces to fit together so that you're covering the beautiful tapestry of whatever the hell, right? And
it's all about the guests,
right? But what I'm saying is, it's like I don't always know how you figure out what those different like axes, right? There's race and there's religion and there's gender and there's national background. There's like all of these different things that you want to try to hit so that you get real diversity in the story that you're telling, but it's really hard to figure out what that means,
I can share.
Go ahead.
I can just share from my perspective, because I do a lot of reaching out to, other podcasters and other folks to bring them on. And one of the things that we've been really consistent about, and as we formulated this podcast, we collaborated for how long? Months to figure out what our platform is. And our platform is really about the importance of representation, and we come with a unique perspective because we are these things. We're Black, we're gay, we're in interracial relationships, but at the end of the day, I think what really attracts us to folks like you and some of the other podcasters and other folks that we've had on is they have a very unique point of view, and it's not about filling some kind of like, racial quota or, like profile quota. It's really about, are these people that have something interesting to say, that have a unique point of view that our listeners would be interested to hear about, or are these folks that we would just want to have a dialogue with? We want to like vibe with them and connect with them and see where that intersection lies. And it might not be like the high production style of, having like a producer go out and like interview people to say, oh, do you want to be on our show, and like cast it all out. It's very grassroots because we are grassroots and we're authentic with our conversations. And that's what the kind of energy that we want to attract.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, it's all about the visibility, because it's, I think that's why what you're doing is so great, because just being out there and being an option that people can find you and identify with you, I think it's so important. And that's what I keep saying, like, that when we did the Pride episode this year, I wanted to have more like not only dads of color, but also not only Black dads, but also Asian Black dads, Asian dads. Sorry.
Or Asian
we
Black
got you.
Asian dads. So, and you know what? And I looked for it for, I may have asked 30 Asian dads that I could find, and nobody wanted to interview. And I said to myself, that's really a problem, because they're scared to come forward and to be visible yet. Like they're not ready yet. And this is why you don't see them. I mean, you start seeing Black dads, Black gay dads, but you don't see enough of Asian gay dads. So what would the Asian kid who lives, very far away from here will think? And,
absolutely.
And I think that's really, it's all about the visibility, people, and especially
the
kids.
Spectrum of it too, because I think a lot of times another kind of piggyback of Dawon is that even before the representation part of it came about, is just showing that there's a spectrum, because a lot of times there's this stereotype of what a gay Black man was supposed to be like and sound like and all this stuff. And my friend group that are at least the Black proportion of that probably don't really fit into that box of what you might see on a TV show or this and that. So that's really the pinpoint of where it started, because I was like, okay, I'm a Black gay guy from the Midwest. Both of my parents are pastors.
Oh God,
I'm
really?
not seeing any of this out there, and there's stories to be told,
Right.
Yeah.
And so then talking to Dawon and I would get in these 3-hour conversations. Jerrell and I would get in these 3-hour conversations. And it's just okay, if it's not out there, let's start this, because if we don't do it, no one else is going to. And then, like you said, okay, now as the platform grows, we have an opportunity to be okay, let's get some gay dads on here. Let's get the Asian community involved. Let's get the Native American community involved, because there's and I think we probably said, I think it was last week's episode, there's just so many stories out there. And to me, it's sad to know that people are passing away or whatever it may be without telling their story that could push us all forward, especially in this kind of climate. Just just even, we'll get to it with Kamala and everything, but it's just to see her platform, that just means there's another subset of the United States specifically, that now there's going to be more stories that are able to be told just simply because of the visibility.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for our podcast, for your podcast, one of the real challenges is not just what voices are there, but who the voices are talking to. Because Lord knows, I mean, I one of the things that I hope for is that straight people of all walks of life, flavors, might listen to our podcast, and it might give them a different perspective on what a gay man is, certainly in the form of all of their stories are the same bullshit as the bullshit that we went through raising our children, and there's something valuable to that. But on the other hand, the problem is that, am I gonna get a lot of KKK members to listen to our podcast? Not a whole lot.
No, that's very true.
And so it is one of the challenges that we have that the old-fashioned television networks didn't have. The old television networks, if they decided to put, Billie Jean King on because she was a lesbian in the 1970s, the whole world discovered that there were lesbians, right? And we don't really have that same thing going on, because people can pick and choose exactly what they bring into their heads.
I liken the podcast world, because it is so accessible, and it's one of the most accessible media outlets. It's difficult to get into television, it's difficult to get into radio, but anyone can create a podcast and have their content out there. And it also shows that there's room in this platform for everyone to be able to have their voices heard and have their audience and be able to meet that. And I liken podcasts a lot to CDs before streaming became available, because when CDs came out and a lot of cassettes and things like that, you would go over a friend's house and they would have things that you never heard of before. And it was it was very interesting being able to discover things through the lens of your friends. And I feel like a lot of listeners, podcast listeners, have this little secret you know, this little like personal secret that, oh, I've been listening to this podcast about blah, 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 blah. And have you heard about it? And the other person's like, no, I've never heard about it. That sounds amazing. And it becomes like this, you know, this
girl,
like
you haven't
sharing.
heard of YoAunTeas? Hey.
Oh,
it's really cool.
Is that a
transition?
transition?
Cool how this manifests.
Not really, but right. But before we do transition, you guys got to tell the community your auntie's names because we didn't cover that part. Because all our guests always have an auntie name. So what's your auntie name?
Well, of course. I mean, I assumed that was a given.
Well, when we were talking yesterday, I said that my drag name is Golda. Back in the time, so Auntie Golda, but I wanted to change it to Auntie Kylie because, you know, with all due respect, her name should be said again and again, and I don't mean Jenner.
We got it.
How do we feel about Auntie Perspirant? Can we work with that? I don't. Is it a little too
throw the podcast away?
It's everything.
Okay. There we go.
We're breaking the mold with the we broke the mold last week with the extra long gummy penguin vodka something.
Yes, anyway. that was a long one.
That was
a long one to say.
That's too funny. Well, we're gonna have you guys.
Normally, the auntie names are it's a cocktail.
A beverage, a cocktail.
So I'm Auntie Chardonnay.
Okay. Well, but Auntie Perspirant is a very, very dry vermouth.
Clearly.
Yes,
liquid.
Yes. But we're going to have them on for the episode, the rest of the episode here. And we're going to get to the Ask Your Aunties because it's a juicy one today. Woo.
Okay.
So what time is it? It's Ask Your Auntie. Let's see. And I have it up. Oh, Lord. Okay. This.
I didn't read it, so it's going to be new to me.
Wig,
it's
very wacky.
So it says, first things first. I Papa freaks all the hunt. Anyway, sorry, Notorious B.I.G. First things first. Please know I love my boyfriend more than anyone in the world. So you know if it starts off that way, it's about to be juicy. Anyone in the world, and I would do anything for him. What? That being said, we are both kink open-minded and share many of the same interests in bed. However, I feel there are aspects of my kink lifestyle before we got together that I miss currently. Number 1, being group sex. Number 2, being the company of older gentlemen. Number 3, being the excitement of anonymous, safe hookups. I don't feel like I need any of these to be sexually fulfilled per se, but at the same time, I notice myself wanting to dive back into the deep recesses of the kink community.
I like the deep recesses. I'm just saying.
Right?
The alliteration, it's perfect.
It's hilarious. But I do love to do it with my boyfriend. He's a fairly conservative Christian, despite the kink, and really strictly believes in monogamy. I want to emotionally and spiritually only be with him for the rest of my life, but physically, I still want to be able to explore with him. I'm getting worked up and really wanting a release that involves some crazy scenario with my boyfriend, but I don't know how to bring it up. And there's some stuff in parentheses too that
say the parentheses.
Oh my God.
Say the parentheses.
It says parentheses, i.e., I'd love for us to share 2 bottoms or get plowed by 2 tops or Eiffel Tower, a daddy, or vice versa. The devil.
Tower.
And I was like,
1 in the middle and 2 up on top.
Yeah, so you kind of like high-five each other like this, you know?
C'est bon.
So whoever said that, anonymous, okay. Then.
Anonymous.
So that's
I'm a more of a Washington Monument guy myself, but
I don't know how to comment to that one.
I on baby arms.
I don't. If his so what are we supposed to do? Is Auntie Perspirant supposed to?
I thought that kink is much kinkier.
Yes. Okay. Well, now they know.
No, that doesn't.
I did think kink was going to be like some IML.
Yeah, it was going to be worse than
stuff, but
to be honest,
I
was expecting like.
Look, it sounds. I guess here's the thing. At some point, he's gotta be honest with his boyfriend about what he loves. If he doesn't do that, then he's going to develop resentment, and the other guy's going to develop resentment. certainly I think wine should be involved in the conversation, a fair amount of wine to get things going. But I mean, he can't. Like, how long can the relationship go on the sexual level without him being honest about who he is?
Mm-hmm.
He came out of the closet. He came out of the closet so that he could express his love and his sexuality, and he shouldn't remain in the closet.
Yeah, I know quite a few gay men specifically that are struggling with kind of wanting the relationship and monogamy, but wanting to be with one person, but then still trying to detach from the single lifestyle of being able to be with whomever they want to. You know, it's like they like the sexual aspect of the single life, but they love everything else about the relationship. And I've noticed that the line is starting to be noticed and where it is and how dangerous like it is to cross the line, and also like how accepting people are. I agree with you, Alex. I think he needs to say something because I think it's going to just build nothing but resentment. And at the same time, like, you should also just stay true to who you are. Like, if you want a relationship, there's someone out there for you who's going to be able to fulfill those exact needs. So don't settle because you found someone and you have to give a big chunk of you, because obviously it sounds like this matters to you. And so for there, you should be looking for that in a relationship as well, not just the other things that come from the get-go. Exactly.
Dawon, what do you say?
I'm looking up the question again because I want to.
I want to go last. Because I have something to say about this.
I'll there.
Oh, go ahead.
You found the question?
I found it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I feel like we say this a lot on here. Communication is so huge, and a lot of times we don't communicate because we're fearful of either the reaction our significant other or whatever relationship it is going to be. But a lot of times you might build it up in your head bigger than what the reaction ends up being. So you're going to have to speak this out. And why wasn't this brought up from the get-go? You know, like if kink or whatever it may be, or the freedom of sexuality is so huge for you, that should have probably been something that should have been brought up before it got really deep and like, you know, I don't know. But, and then to say he's kink open-minded maybe brings up that you've talked about something like this before. So I don't know. It just seems like I need some more information almost, because
that's where I'm struggling. I'm really struggling because, first of all, like, this definition of kink
is not really
kinky. So I get the open-minded piece, but if they were talking about, like, you know, I don't know, like pounding nails into somebody's scrotum or something like that, like that's kink.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Tell us more, Dawon.
That's not from personal experience.
That's
my testicles are intact.
Republican level kink.
It's just, but
that's Lindsey Graham level.
I think what's problematic is, and of course we don't have as much information, but what's problematic is this person has entered into a relationship with someone that does not share that kind of sexual proclivity. So the fact that they chose to forego, because he said this guy's a Christian, which I'm assuming is supposed to feign some kind of sense of morality and
right, that part,
whatever. So we all know about Christians. So I don't know about that.
Hey.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying too, girl. Go ahead.
But, you know, I think the more operative word is he's conservative. Right. And what's interesting to me is that this person chose to enter into a relationship with somebody that is clearly more conservative than they are open-minded. Mm-hmm. And so one wonders what was the driving factor to enter into this monogamous relationship with this person that doesn't share a really critical value system that you seem to have that they don't have, and that it comes out in a sexual manner. I think that's problematic. And you know, honestly, if their partner can't get over this, or if their partner, I don't want to put the blame on the partner, if he or she, whoever anonymous is not able to have the conversation and have an open and honest conversation and be willing to acquiesce, really openly and truly acquiesce these urges of going into the dark recesses of your kink. if you can't subside those, then the relationship is going to be doomed, because that is going to eat away like a cancer in the context of your relationship, and it'll manifest itself sexually, it'll manifest itself emotionally, spiritually, physically. You won't even want to be in the same house with this person after a while because of all the undealt with trauma that you've inflicted on yourself by not having the conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you bring it up though?
Yeah, that was going to be the point I say too, because some people can't handle like their partner also wanting sexual or attention from someone else. You know, like, because some people, I'm not the jealous type. Like, I'm very confident in what I bring to the table. If someone wants someone else, like, I'm not perfect, you know, and I was always raised that there's someone bigger and better out there. So like, if there are just simply things that I can't bring to a table for someone, that's okay. That's just life. But some people don't know how to accept that, and they start to think, well, what's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Sort of like that. So I can understand people having fear of having those hard, tough type of communication conversations, because of the fact that some people aren't there mentally and emotionally to have said conversations.
Well, and the other piece of it is, and we talk about this all the time, people don't have the language skills. There are certain things about what you want that you know, but you don't have. How many times you've been in a situation where you just don't have the words? You know what you're trying to say, but for some reason you can't get it out in a way that person can receive it. And so this is where I think, therapy comes into play. You need a person who can help be the mediator of this really difficult thing, to help you be able to have the dialogue that you need in a way that is constructive for the context of your relationship. It doesn't always mean that your relationship will
Kylie says go to therapy as well. But I have to say something that I think that I want to normalize what he's thinking, because even though it sounds like a problem, it's a problem that any couple faces. At one point, when the infatuation goes down, you get back to the real life, to the actual lives of you guys having to live together, and then these things come up. So it might have been the reason why it didn't come up until now is that he was too tied up, or so excited with I don't know how long. And that's to my opinion, that's the missing part. Like, how long have they been together?
Right.
But I assume that these things happen when you go into this, regular life and have to deal with these things that come up now. And that's where also the couples therapy can be very much helpful, to have somebody who acts like the mediator. But I think that in a way, it's he should definitely try to, at least before he talks to him about this, have a pre-conversation about the fact that he wants to be honest with him. He wants to talk about everything. What if we talk about sex? Will that be okay? Like, make a preparation, not just immediately late on out there, so that person will, first of all, open up to honesty, and then we can talk about anything. One thing that I also wanted to say, and that's I truly believe in that, and I know it's a little bit controversial, but my late therapist, God bless her, used to say that the evolution goes toward not having monogamous relationships. And I think that we see a lot of divorce right now, like 50% divorce.
That's true.
Among straight people. And a lot of them are related to that, like either, cheating, and I mean like physical cheating, when it's not really, when you cheat on your wife, it doesn't mean that you want to be with somebody else necessarily, but it's like the physical aspect is now with social media, and we sexualizing ourselves, and it's getting much bigger than it used to be. And I think it goes towards some sort of a different form of relationships and marriages. And I think that gay men will be the first one to figure this out. And I think because we're more open than straight
or because it's new and in terms of
I always say that we came to change marriage for the better, and I think that would be the aspect of it. We're going to figure out the place of our partner in this new form of love and relationship that have never been before, and you see that's what's going to happen.
And this is, we got to stop giving things labels too. Like, I think that's a big part of it too, is, we got to stop always like, everything doesn't have to have a definition. Like, it could just be what it is. It don't have to be for everybody. It could just simply just be for those, particular people, and just for them. And it could be completely different for someone else. Yeah. And I feel like right now, like kind of what you were saying, yeah, like, I feel like we should be transitioning to like the evolution of, it's just going to be open, and it could be open in the sense where it's, maybe open is monogamy, but they're just open to each other and what their needs are, which is right. Exactly. Exactly. Which may fall more on the monogamy side.
So let me just only challenge what you're saying in one way. Okay. I think, and here's where my little conservatism will come out. There are some structures that human beings have created that have real foundational value, in my opinion. So this concept of marriage, not the way that it's been defined by civilization and television exactly, but this concept of saying, all right, I've decided I am going to commit to this other person, yes, for the rest of my life. Commit to. I didn't say sexually, commit to, right? I think that structure has a lot of value. Human beings get older, things change. And the question is, when will you find a way to partner in a manner that you can rely on, that will be your future? Now, I realize that people get married and get divorced all the time, but I'm actually advocating that the idea should be that at some point you should try to find somebody that you can say, you know what, this works, and let's make this work forever. If making this work means that we will have sex with other people, great. If it means that we will do whatever we need to do, but that foundational concept of two human beings saying, we're going to do this for the rest of our lives, I think is very, very special and meaningful. And we should try to make it work rather than say, nah, we don't need that, because I think we do need it.
We're also, just by human nature, we're creatures of emulation. So we do what we see. We emulate the people that we are exposed to, which I think, again, kind of going back to our earlier conversation, and this is a little bit further away from the Ask YoAunTea question, but, being able to see gay dads or hear gay dads on your podcast is eye-opening, because now you're giving license for someone to emulate something that they didn't even think was possible. Having a platform like this, does the same thing. Having, somebody in a very prominent position, or going back to Jan, what you were saying about Neil Patrick Harris and whatnot, having these people, these individuals, and doing something that is so highly visible gives people permission to lean more into their own individuality, because they may be feeling like, oh wow, I now identify with that particular person, or that person looks like me, and that gives me more courage to be more for myself. And let's not make any mistake. I don't think anybody here is kink shaming, or the intention is not to kink shame anybody or to shame the idea of counter monogamy. But I think the underpinning of this conversation is really set in, how knowledgeable and insightful are you about who you are and what you want, and allowing those core values to drive the people that you engage with and that you align with, whether it's in a romantic setting, whether it's in a friendship setting. Like, how in tune are you with who you are and what you need, so that you're not getting into this situation, after the fact and saying, oh shit, I just, been in a relationship for 5 years with this guy, and I really want to have sex with a whole bunch of other people, but I know he doesn't really like that.
Yeah. And here's the thing too, like, I feel especially within gay culture, sometimes we put so much value on what the straight way was, and like you said, 50% of it ends in divorce, that you never just take the time within your relationship to define what will work for both of you.
Yeah, but I just want to point out, I just want to point out this really beautiful thing. I'm not kidding.
Absolutely.
No, what I was going to say is this beautiful, this beautiful thing is that when younger gay men hook up, they say to each other, "What are you into?" Now, we think that's kind of like, Jesus, really? But it's amazing, because think about a straight two, like a man and a woman hooking up at a bar. Yeah. They don't have that conversation. Nope. They go and they try to do whatever the fuck they try to do, and one of them is
a peg in a hole,
right? But they don't even know. They don't even know. Maybe she doesn't want to do this. Maybe he does want to do that. And the point is that there's something very special about the fact that gay men are actually redefining. They're saying to each other, "What are you into?" And this one says, "I like this," and I one says, "I like that." And it might feel a little bit like weird, but that's healthy. That's really a positive step. And so we are redefining things in a really meaningful way. And so up with the gays. And as I've been saying, especially since the Me Too movement really crescendoed, like, heterosexuality is done. It's done. Let's be honest.
I think it's a good segue to WAP.
They had their time. Look, what are we gonna do?
This WAP.
We have 9 minutes.
So I just want to tell you guys, we have a little bit of a problem, which is we got a school thing at 6 o'clock, which is in 8 minutes.
Well, let's quickly go to WAP community, AYA at minorityareport.com. So you ask your auntie questions there, or DM us on Instagram. But WAP, whatever.
I'm dying to know what you guys think about this.
So those that don't know what WAP is the new single by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. And it's a little raunchy song, and WAP. You know what, Alex?
Little raunchy song.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I assume it's the sound of a man with a properly sized dick slapping it on somebody's face.
No.
We'll get there, because that's a macaroni in the pot.
That's close.
Think about who's singing it. Let's think about who's singing it.
I don't know what the Cardi B
women are singing
an abbreviation. The
two women are singing or rapping.
It's close, because
that's very close, because it is the part where she goes, wop wop wop, like she literally talks about that sound.
Right, it's onomatopoetic.
So that is part of it. That is a two-part answer.
Wet ass kitty cat pussy.
All right. You know what? I just want to tell you something. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was hoping. All right, so it's a wet ass pussy.
A lot of people are up in arms. Just
why? Because they don't get wet ass pussy.
Probably.
I mean,
but they're upset that women are being
upset
that women are being that vulgar or raunchy in a song, in a video, and things like that. Again, but it's just like dudes do it all the time.
Yes,
we look at dudes all day long on Instagram with their shirts off, Speedos, no Speedos, whatever. But the second they kind of do it, right
to the wall.
I mean, we had Uncle Luke back in the day. We had Lil Kim. We had Trina. So it's just weird that this narrative again of being in an uproar about what women are doing with their bodies and saying is out there again.
I am so delighted to not know what the hell you're talking about. What I mean is that like. I'm full up to here with Donald Trump destroying the earth and COVID destroying the earth, and Joe Biden and Kamala coming on a white horse to save us all. So I somehow missed Cardi B.
I have to say
it was lost in translation.
If any of you guys who are listening to us right now, if any of you didn't see the video, go see it, because it's amazing.
Is it better than Anaconda?
So good.
I love Anaconda.
Listen, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like this music at all. I don't appreciate Cardi B's music. Never have been. But this video, oh my God, it's art. It's art.
All right, we're going tonight.
It's amazing. And I think that, and I've been following this. I've been following this story for the past 2 days.
Yeah.
And listen, what can I say? It's nothing new. Nothing is new.
Yeah.
Right? It's another, and you can, I used to, when I was in Israel before I came to America, I used to be a publicist for pop artists.
Okay.
It may have been a whole PR spin that her people put this on the internet in order to create a conversation. We're doing it. Good for her. Amazing. I mean,
I agree.
I know that a lot of other people like her, which is great. Not my cup of tea. Video amazing. That's all.
They look great.
I just like the one line when she says, I just want him to, poke at the little dangling thing in the back of my throat. And I was like, I touched my own throat and I was like.
So here is a quiz question for your listeners.
I thought you were going to
here is a quiz question for your listeners.
Okay.
What is that thing called?
Oh, Lord. I don't know.
It's called something that gets in the way.
Right, something that's
medulla oblongata. Isn't that the medulla oblongata?
No, that's in your brain. This thing that Cardi wants to be poked with is your uvula. Now
I want that
uvula.
Count of
it needs to be no molar. It needs to be no molar.
The sexiest song into an unsexy song.
Thank you.
Do you believe it needs to be no molar? Is that what you said?
No molar. No molar. I need to make room.
No, not vulva. Vulva is lower.
I like the macaroni in the pot line because that's what it sounds like. That's what that sounds like. My bad.
Can I just say I don't think that they're doing it right if it makes that sound?
Well, I mean, maybe with a woman, I don't know.
Yeah, good.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that.
With the WAP. But okay, so
off air.
Or it'd be a WAP because of wet ass bussy for a gay man.
Bussy.
Well, I just want you to know that
sounds terrible.
Just 2 minutes from now, we're going to be talking to two straight couples with young children who will be doing a homeschooling with our kids next year, and I am going to be sure to ask them if they know
what is WAP.
What is WAP?
Oh my God.
And make sure to spell it out because it phonetically sounds like a racial slur.
A very old-fashioned racial slur.
Just saying,
right.
There's a lot of old-fashioned racists out there.
Count of Alex to spice up the school life.
Give us your social and where we can find you guys and everything like that.
So if you look out on Instagram, just look for the Gay Dads Podcast. You'll see us.
Perfect.
Or daddysqr.com.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna have you guys on again because
we need a double dose of
exactly.
When Cardi B releases her next single,
there we go.
I know that
Kylie releases.
Right, Kerel will need to get you onto the YouTube when
Listen
he does
to
new
Say
music
Something
release.
Kylie Minogue.
He does new music reviews.
I'll do a Kylie release for you. The only Kylie song that I really enjoy, or I guess really know, is "Skirt." Does anyone know that song?
Yes,
that's a great song.
Yeah. I can't name a single song off the top of my head.
Oh my God!
You know some Kylie songs if you heard.
I'm sure.
I just can't get you out of my head. That's All American knows.
Yeah. Oh, that's her. Okay, I do know that song.
Yes.
I mean, I was like 12 when it came out, so that's her.
This is for you. Can you see it?
Thank you.
Can you see it?
Thank you.
All right.
I mean,
this was so much fun. I'm so sorry we have to hang up on you.
Not a problem.
That's all right.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Doing this.
We'll do another one.
Bye.
All right, take care.
First, to make sure we don't lose it. Hey, don't. Okay. Oh, okay. Now we'll go.
Now go.
I don't want to lose that file. Bye.
That's so funny.
They're so cute.
So cute.
Amazing.
But
they were awesome.
That WAP song, I like when Megan was like, I'm gonna ride the dick and spell it, or something like, I'm gonna ride the dick and spell my name. I was like, and then she's like, I was like, you better.
Or the part where she said, I never lost a fight, but I'm looking for a beat down. Girl, I was like, ooh.
There's so many quotes in that song.
My only criticism of the video, is it seemed quite random who the extra women were. Like, in my view, there were like, 4 extra. So there was Kylie Jenner. There was
Normani.
Not LMI. What's her name?
Normani.
Normani. And then there was two other chicks, right?
Rosalia, three. There was three. Milky and Sky.
No, it was Rosalia, Suki, and Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose.
So I don't know none of them. I don't know none of them. But when they were opening doors,
wanted, like, to get some upcoming. Well, Normani's been here for a while, but Rosalia's huge. But she wanted to just show like girl power kind of thing.
And I just felt like it was a little disjointed because they were all in like their own little rooms, and I get it, like, you know,
it's a
coronavirus, but clearly that didn't stop Cardi B and what's her face, the Stallion, to get together and have their heads right next to each other. But I'm just saying, like, the whole, like, having these extra people in here, to me, from a music video standpoint, visually seemed a little disjointed.
I thought it was supposed to reference, like, there's some bad bitches in this house. You know, like, that was the point of, like,
didn't come across me.
And well, you also don't know their music, and so I think that's part of the reason, because if you know, like, they're also women who really are about their sexuality and about just that feminine power, like, I'm sexy, I don't care what nobody says, like, very much with kind of that song, how that song goes raunchy, you know, is very much, they're very much like that artist too. So I think that was the reasoning of having them featured in there, kind of being like, there's room for all of us on there.
I don't mind that they were featured. What I'm saying is, visually, the continuity of how they were presented in the video did not make sense at all. It was disjointed. It was like, okay, we open this door and then here's a chicken here. Like, to me, it just didn't make sense. I would have loved to have seen, if it's a house, show us the whole house, show us the pussy house, and then have a screenshot of us going into the house, and then so we have some context of, like, where
isn't that what they did? That's how it opened, right? Because, like, it started with, like, the circular with the titties spitting out water.
Outside the mansion.
Door, and then they kind of had, like, it was almost like a house.
For me, dog.
It was almost like a house of bad bitches, a house of
frankly, all the scenes with Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion were phenomenal. I love, like, the whole graphic nature of it. I love that whole kind of, like, white tiger print that they did in Meg Thee Stallion's hair. Like, visually, those elements were stunning. I was just
she did her own makeup too. Megan Thee Stallion did her own makeup, and she looked good. Yeah.
Like, if I was straight, like, that's like, I'd go after Megan Thee Stallion.
Like, I think I thought, you know, for us being in quarantine, like, I think they did a good job. Like, you know, I think they, had it been any other time, had it been last year, I would have expected more. But given the state of the world, I'm like, we got something, you know, like.
I think the only other thing is that, like, for me, there really wasn't, like, there's not, like, a really strong hook. Like,
macaroni in the pot. That's so wet. The girl with that hook is everything. I don't know what you're talking about on that one.
No,
that hook is everything.
I mean,
her
the words were nice.
The
words were nice, but, like, the beat is kind of like, what?
Oh, I disagree. I disagree.
It's a no for me, dog.
You know, you, like, let that song come on and we at the club. You know, we're gonna be like,
hey, if you're gonna stick your tongue out,
absolutely.
You know, but I like we were talking about that argument, that conversation though, of, like, people having an issue with it. Like, everyone knows that everyone was singing that song. There's some hoes in the house back in the day. Everyone knows the lyrics.
That song 30 years old.
You know, like, right? Like, come on now.
Is that, like, there's so many raunchier songs. I mean, Uncle Luke was all about the raunch.
Look,
big booty hoes.
Hey.
I mean, come on. Like, people just want to be mad. I mean, like, Trina made a whole career about being raunchy.
Oh, yeah, she showed it.
Let her hop on a remix.
I was just like, that hoopla
I don't know.
was stupid.
I always find it problematic when somebody tries to police somebody else's, like, you know, artistic expression. Like,
yes.
At the end of the day, if you don't like the music, then turn the fucking shit off. Because that means it's not for you. It's not for you. So, like, you know, like, if they want to, first of all, we have the First Amendment. So it's protected speech. So they can express themselves however they want to. And if you don't like it, kick rocks.
And you don't have to listen to it. It's against women, though. You never hear dudes getting, like, talked to like this, like, saying, "Oh, you need to be a stand-up guy for the next generation and for the kids of the world."
Right.
And so why are we placing this on these women like that? Like, oh, you're not being nice for the generation, for the little girl that's looking at you with your butt all out. And then why are they watching it? Then if you care that much, why is your kid watching this and listening to this right now?
That part.
Censor what they're watching and listening to, like everybody else's parents did growing up.
Right.
You had to hide your shit.
Right. Exactly.
I was just like, come on, don't do that today. Not in 2020. We ain't about no. You ain't about to regulate what women are doing anymore as a dude. Like that's
right.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
But Miss Kamala Harris.
Yes, congratulations.
VP pick.
Congratulations.
And for all Black women and Indian women too, because she's half Black, half Indian. That's incredible. Like I posted on the news, social media, and it made me teary-eyed just because being brought up. Obviously, I keep saying my parents are pastors, but being brought up with strong Black women, like all of the Black women in that church, like there was times like how they said that you need a village to raise a kid. There was times where it was like I was at the McCoy's house, I was at the Hunter's house, I was at the Walden, like strong Black women.
Right.
And to see that image now for them, and she had an AKA, she went to HBCU, like there's just so much behind it. Yes, there's other picks that people probably wanted, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, she was a Black woman, and he actually did what he said he was going to do to put a Black woman. I was like, I'm so here for it.
You know what would have been funny? And maybe this is just me, but what would have been funny is after the announcement, if Joe Biden would have called her and said, bet you glad you got on that bus now.
Bet you got on that bus.
Because remember they were debating and she was talking about busing and he was the one that put the busing things into place and she's like, I was that girl on that bus.
I would have been mad if he said that shit.
Glad I got on that bus now.
Glad you got them buses now, huh?
Right, exactly.
Lord. But I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people are kind of like upset too that it wasn't like Susan Rice or Stacey Abrams or I'm trying to think the other Bass. What was her first name? I can't think of her first name. At the end of the day, we just need to get old boy out the White House. That let the market. It's just marketing. Yes, I mean, Joe might not be the best candidate that we even want. I don't care. It's simple
it
for
says
me.
It says a lot about his candidacy that people are more excited about his VP pick than they are about him.
Well, he had to pick someone in that Black community to vote.
But I think this is also a little bit of validation that he's listening to like the Black community, because if he did not pick a Black woman,
it would be for sure Trump for another 4 years. Oh,
I mean, what will be the point?
Ooh.
What will be the point? Mm-hmm. We would have known for a fact that this dude is not for the Democratic Party and certainly not for Black people.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah.
I mean, for me, for me, like I was one of the few people who I would have preferred it been Stacey Abrams, but like you guys are saying, like the point is at this point is to get Trump out of the house, get him out of the White House, and by any means necessary,
exactly.
and honestly, and I feel this way about Joe Biden. I don't feel like he was the best qualified candidate for president in the primaries. However, he was the best choice. He was, but no, hold on. This is the point I'm saying. He's the best choice to get Trump out. There's a difference.
Absolutely.
Like there were other people more qualified, I believe, and would have done a better job. But as far as getting the vote to get him out, he was definitely the person that we needed. And, I think that's what a lot of people are failing to realize at this point, that it's less about, unfortunately, this presidential candidacy election it's being about the best.
Enable him to do.
Exactly. And, to people are failing to realize, like, if Trump is reelected, then he's going to have the opportunity to appoint 2 more Supreme Court nominees, to the Supreme Court, which kiss all the fucking laws and everything goodbye. Like, there's a lot at stake in this election, and people aren't paying attention to that. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to start having those conversations. And when we see people say, oh my God, it's rigged, and Kamala Cop and all this other stuff, and I'm like, quit it. I'm not here for it. And the other thing too is where, especially when people are talking, Kamala Harris is past. When do we stop allowing people to prove that they have changed? Like in the primaries, she was trying to explain how much she changed in the work that she's did. And she acknowledged the wrong that she did as a prosecutor and the state general as, you know, for California. Yeah. She did acknowledge it. She did acknowledge it. And she has done other things. Right.
What were you doing to help the situation? Like, that's the part that drives me so fucking bonkers. It's just like.
But you know what's great though?
What's that?
Number one, she's a prosecutor. So she gonna pull that lawyer card out, but now she ain't gotta be nice. Because the thing that you have to, the thing that you gotta have, you gotta have a likability for, you know, to get that nomination. But now that she's the vice president, she ain't got shit to lose. Nope. So, and she's a prosecutor. Come on now, it's about to be on fire.
But I just want to say quickly to Jerrell's point. What were you doing? Like, what were people that are bitching? What were you doing, and what are you doing to help those same situations that you're bitching about? If you're not doing anything, shut up.
That part.
All you're doing is bitching. You are not aiding at all. Are you voting in your local elections for the sheriff, your school superintendent? There's stuff locally that you're bitching about that you can help control. You can help go rally for them, go door to door knocking and shit. That's point A. Point B, people got to remember, even at that point when she was a prosecutor in 2004, no one was doing, like, everyone was doing what she was doing, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Right.
Everyone was doing what she was doing. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but the progress we've made with criminal, like, reform is literally only been in, like, the last 4 or 5 years, honestly. Let's be all the way real, that the voices have been able to be loud enough that the ball is rolling. Does it make it right? No. But just to pinpoint her, yes, I guess she's on the national stage, she's the VP pick, blah, blah, blah. But you need to make sure that you're talking to a lot more people than just Kamala if you're that upset about it.
That part.
And this actually, like, when you see people making these kind of, like, you know, like the Bernie bros that are out there, and, you know, like these people that are such naysayers about the Democratic Party, you know, the reality of it is that, you know, I'm not going to say that they're our only hope, but at the end of the day, we've got to put a lot of this, like, bullshit behind us so that we can get rallied behind doing the thing that makes the most sense. And if personally, if I see somebody on my timeline or in my comments talking some bullshit, you're getting blocked. You getting blocked. We're not being friends anymore. There's no conversation. There's no argument. There's no education, because all these type of people are doing is they're gaslighting the situation. And I would be very hard pressed if they were actually Democrats to begin with. Like, these people that are gassing this situation up and talking about, oh, well, you know, she's not going to do anything and blah 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 blah. Well, then who are you voting for?
And then what are you
when
doing?
You get up to the poll? Because you may be feigning as you, because there's a lot of, especially in the gay community, there's a lot of people that'll be like, oh yeah, I'm down for the cause, and I'm, you know, Black Lives Matter and all that shit. But when it really comes to the rubber meeting the road, they vote just with their mommy and daddy and grandpappy, just like a Republican. So I'm not here for that. No, not getting none of this energy. You want to? You want to?
I mean, I have the energy. I have the energy because.
Go to
and I'm going to have, I will, because of the fact that, like, again, I
deleted 3 people today.
The thought of Trump being reelected terrifies me and scares me. And honestly, it makes me want to cry. Like, I'm afraid of him being reelected. And if me speaking up is doing something, like Kerel was just talking about, like, what are you doing? Well, what I'm doing is pushing back and challenging those who are gaslighting, who are bringing more harm to the situation. Like, I'd rather do that for me personally, so that way I can be like, well, you know what, I tried, you know, and I just didn't get fucked over if he gets reelected, you know. And then 2, I'm like, kind of like with the podcast over the last year, it's really, you know, you guys have helped open my eyes and challenged me to start thinking and seeing other perspectives. Like, I've now feel more encouraged to do that in politics when I'm speaking with other people. Like, I used to be afraid to have political conversations with people, but now I have no problem. I have no problem now being like, you know, I don't care. This is what it is, point blank, period. And also, one last thing, I'm tired of these white people calling Black folks anti-Black because they are okay with Kamala Harris being the VP.
And the Black people saying that shit too.
And the Black people saying that too. I'm fucking tired of it, because it goes to show that you are not paying attention to the big fucking picture. the big picture.
It's what we have right now. Like, what is our alternative?
Why are you crying over spilled milk?
Trump. So like I don't get it. And were you saying anything 20 years ago? You weren't. So shut up. You're not high and mighty now.
And this is where I draw the line, because there is a very strong difference between somebody that's asking a question that is open to the possibility of learning more, and somebody that is gaslighting a situation just to get a reaction out of you, and that's pulling your energy away from things that are more productive. And what I'm saying is, I'm not here for that noise. So if I see that you're gaslighting the situation, it's a wrap.
Delete.
It's a wrap. There's no more conversation, because I'm going to spend my energy doing things that are going to be more productive than banging my head up against the wall trying to talk to some knucklehead that ain't going to be changing his mind anyway.
And I do want to.
I'll be in other people's statuses and their comments. Like,
I'll be
in everybody's
energy.
I've been a little less the last couple of weeks just because a lot of shit's just been going on personally. But you best believe I see something, I'm like, okay, contraire.
Look, and I have no problem being to my friend or whoever said us a side conversation, but like, I'm sorry, I just came for whoever this person is, but I don't like her. Like,
look, I got into it with Adam's grandmother, and then I had to delete her. So
it happens.
Look, I will have a conversation. If you're not willing to have a conversation, then why are we connected?
I keep everything. I keep everybody on there. You're going to see every... You're going to have to delete me. Because you're going to see every last thing I'm posting. You're going to see every last thing I put out there. You're going to see every conversation that pop up on your feed. Say, Kerel at it again. Yup, I am. You seeing it too, huh? But also keep in mind there's 20... Oh, hold on. There's 23 Republican seats up as well in November. And there's 12 Democratic seats. So it's even just bigger than just the presidency. There's a way for us to flip the Senate. So please be aware of just even outside the presidency, which is number one priority for sure. But then 1B is we have an opportunity to flip the Senate House. So a lot, like I know Georgia, there's a couple predominantly usually historically red states that are potentials to flip, like Arizona, Georgia, what was the other, Montana. What was the other one? There was another big one. Let me think for a second.
Some people are thinking possibly Texas too, because of the last primaries, it went purple.
There's another huge one though. I can't think right now. But so please be aware of like just how huge November is. Because if you could flip the Senate more Democratic, we could right a lot of these wrongs from the last 4 years, and it won't be as big of a struggle to get a lot of these things passed that really need to get passed that help minority communities, like Black, brown communities, LGBTQIA plus communities, the disabled communities, healthcare. So please take November so serious. If you haven't registered, please register to vote.
It was one of the biggest issues that Barack Obama had in his 2 terms was the fact that he had so many, I think the House and the Senate one term.
I think it flipped after his first term.
Yeah, his first term, it was both, and then it flipped. But I mean, like, it makes a difference.
It does.
It really makes a difference. There's a lot of positive that's on the line, and we have to stay focused on that. So,
but I don't know. I think what else we have? Like that just took all my brain.
That's enough.
Seriously. So community, thank you again to the dads. Literally, they are
thank you guys, John and Alex. Thanks,
Daddy. You guys for coming on.
We're gonna have to try to get them back on here because I just feel like there's a lot of information they could share with us if you are looking to be a parent as a gay person in the community. So.
And plus, they dropped that little bit of bomb about the kink, so we need to explore that a little bit more.
Exactly. I know. Right. It's like time
I know. Y'all was right. He said, "Oh, ours is more than that."
Right. He's like, "Oh, that's
toys
kink.
You got?
Oh, that's kink." Okay. But all right, communities, make sure you subscribe, make sure you download, share, and all that good stuff. Wash your hands, your legs, and ass.
Wash your elbows, wash your ass.
Get that lotion too. Don't be out here ashy either. Right. And we'll see you next week.
All right, bye, y'all.